Yo, what's going on guys, it's Super, and welcome back to another Squad video. So, Squad just released update 10.0, Trident Strike, which introduces the Ukrainian faction, the Armed Forces of Ukraine. First things first are some of the new vehicles that the faction gets, which are pretty neat. Starting off with the Kozak 2M1, which is the Ukrainian version of an MRAP. It also has two variants, one mounted with a machine gun, and the other with an AGS-17. And the design of this vehicle is pretty sweet. Moving on to the next one, we have the BMP-1TS, which is just an updated version of the BMP-1, and also the new look for it is pretty sweet. Next, we have the BTR-4, which is a new updated model and is the first IFE to have an interior model design, which actually all of the new vehicles for this faction have interior models as well. And finally, for the vehicles, my favorite, most definitely, is the T-64 BM2 Bulat MBT, which is an armored upgraded version of a T-64 tank, and has a pretty sleek design. Now, in terms of actual performance for the tank in-game, I would say it plays equally to a T-72. It's not quite as bad as a T-62, but it's definitely not as good as the other MBTs like an Abrams or a Leopard. The faction also gets a newish placement, which is the AGS-17. We already have the AGS-30, but this one feels like it hits a little bit harder and is easier to kill enemies. Moving on to the weapons you can use. As infantry, the majority of weapons are Russian-styled AKs, which makes sense since this is Ukraine. But it also does come with a special weapon, which is a bullpup style called the Malyuk rifle, which is pretty similar to an AUG. And finally, the newest addition to the faction is a precise bomb strike that has two bombs on it. So unlike the usual ones where it has a static barrage or a creeping barrage, this is a new one that drops two bombs simultaneously in two spots close together, and it's pretty neat. The faction also does come with 8 sub-factions, which are pretty similar to every other faction in the game. One are for aquatic, one are more air, one is, for tanks, so on and so forth. And first impressions and thoughts about this faction is, I would say, like I said before, it's pretty much a cross between Russia and Australia in terms of the standard weaponry it can use, but also with the addition of more specialized vehicles and the weapon of the Malyuk rifle that it can also use. The update also provides a few smaller things. Firstly is the updated menus for the training ground and the armory, so you can go in and clearly see what each faction's weapons are like, which is pretty neat, and it looks clean. There's also a bunch of bug fixes, but the most notable ones are, the first being fixing the crash bug when going back to the main menu. So if you ever went back to a main menu after leaving a server, sometimes your game would crash, but that has now been fixed. The second being the no fall damage exploit, which has also been patched out. And finally is when the smoke bug would happen, where sometimes you throw it and it wouldn't appear, or sometimes it would disappear. They're also adding in sort of a little bit of a performance boost in terms of memory, which impacted by foliage on some of the maps. And on screen, I'm just going to put a list of what they have for new layers and maps that they have reworked capture zones for Invasion. And that's pretty much it for this update. It's not a massive update, but every time they introduce a new faction, it's always cool to see the new content that comes to Squad. So let me know what you guys think. Have you played on the Ukrainian faction yet? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? Let me know what you guys think. Personally, I think it's pretty cool, the new stuff they've added. It is sort of a cross between a few factions, so it's nothing insanely new, but I think it's pretty good, and I like it a lot. As always, thanks for watching.